Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about the modern way to get fluent in English. It's a path that kind of leaves those old school methods in the dust and jumps right into a world of really dynamic, personalized learning.
So, does this question hit a little too close to home? If it does, you're definitely not alone. It is such a common frustration, right? You spend all these hours, countless hours, memorizing grammar rules, cramming vocabulary, and then when it's time to actually talk to someone, you just freeze up.
Well, here's the good news. That whole path to fluency, it's changing, like completely. So today we are going to dive deep into the modern learner's toolkit. We're talking about powerful new methods that use things like engaging stories, your own personal AI coach, and a ton of active practice to build that real, lasting confidence we're all after.
Okay, let's jump right into our first big idea. This is all about making a shift, a huge shift, actually. We're moving away from just memorizing words on a list to really learning how they live and breathe inside a great story.
Think about it, right? Our brains are just wired for stories. We're not wired for boring spreadsheets full of vocabulary. So when you learn a new word or a phrase inside a narrative, it just sticks. The context creates this whole web of connections in your brain. It's not just about what the word means anymore. It's about how it felt, who said it, and the whole situation around it. And that's what helps you start speaking automatically, without having to stop and translate every single word in your head.
And look, this isn't just some nice theory. It gets real-world results. Take someone like Juan, a financial vice president. For him, this whole method was a total game changer. He wasn't just memorizing lists of business words. No, he was learning them inside actual case studies and professional situations. And that context, that's what helped him get past that fear of speaking and gave him the confidence he needed to lead meetings and negotiate. To do his job really well. And you see this theme of confidence pop up again and again. For Mariam, a PhD student, the pressure to use perfect academic English was just huge. Story-based learning helped her finally break down that wall of embarrassment, that constant fear of making a mistake. And really, it's that confidence that unlocks everything. It's what lets you finally stop just studying English and start actually using it out in the real world.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little. Let's talk about our next tool and see how technology is basically creating a super powerful personal coach that fits right in your pocket.
So, let's talk about ELSA. That stands for English Language Speech Assistant. And trust me, this is way more than just a voice recording app. Its AI was built by listening to just tons and tons of voice data, and not just from native speakers, but from English learners from all over the world. Now, this is the really cool part. Because it's learned all the common pronunciation patterns of non-native speakers, it doesn't just hear your accent and say, "Nope, that's wrong." Instead, it actually understands where you're coming from and gives you super precise feedback to help you sound clearer and more natural.
And the results? Well, they really speak for themselves. The data is just crystal clear. A whopping 90% of people who use it see a real, tangible improvement in their pronunciation. And even better, 95% say they feel more confident when they speak English. That's a huge combination, right? Better skills and the confidence to actually use them. So how does this actually work? Well, it's this simple but super powerful feedback loop. First, you speak a word or a sentence. Then, the AI instantly analyzes, everything. Your pronunciation, your intonation, your fluency, even your grammar. And here's the secret sauce. It gives you immediate, actionable feedback. Stuff you can actually use. This is so important for how we learn. That instant correction means you can adjust right then and there. It creates this really tight learning cycle that helps you get better way faster than, say, waiting a week for a teacher to correct your homework. You basically improve with every single try.
And what's really fascinating is what all this efficiency adds up to. Check out this number, 27. Yeah, just 27. Research has shown that just 27 hours of focused practice with an app like ELSA can give you the same speaking results as an entire university-level ESL course in the US. Just think about that for a second. That is an absolutely incredible return on your time.
All right, so technology is obviously an amazing tool. But its real power, its true potential, is unlocked when you combine it with something that's always been key: consistent, varied, and most importantly, active practice.
Today, practice means so much more than just repeating phrases from a textbook. The modern toolkit has everything. You've got AI chatbots you can use for role-playing conversations without any pressure. You've got live small group speaking sessions on Zoom. You can find structured lessons for really specific goals like nailing a job interview. And there are even community forums where you can get practice 24/7. The options are incredible.
And here's the crucial point. Good practice isn't just about mindless repetition. It's about being actively engaged. It's really about building that muscle memory for speaking. You're training your brain to produce the language automatically, so that when you're in a real conversation, the words and phrases just flow. They come out naturally without all that hesitation.
Okay, so we've talked about learning with stories, we've talked about AI coaches, and we've talked about active practice. With all these powerful new tools out there, the big question is, how do you choose what's right for you? How do you put it all together? This table here kind of breaks it down pretty nicely. And the key thing to realize is that it's not about finding one single magic bullet. It's about a combination. So, story-based learning, that's amazing for building your confidence and making new words stick. An AI coach? Honestly, it's unbeatable for fixing your pronunciation and fluency because of that instant feedback. And structured practice? That's perfect when you need to master the exact language for specific situations, like a business meeting. See, the real magic happens when you start combining these things. For example, you could use story lessons to learn some cool new idioms, then hop over to an AI coach to make sure you're pronouncing them perfectly. And finally, you could join a live speaking group to actually try using them in a real conversation. You get to build your very own system, one that's totally tailored to what you need. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? If there's just one thing you remember from our explainer today, let it be this. The single biggest shift in learning English right now is the move away from passive studying, like just reading a textbook, and toward active, personalized, and genuinely engaging practice. The tools to build your fluency are smarter, easier to access, and more effective than they have ever been. They really empower you to stop being just a passive student and to start being the architect of your own learning journey. So the only question left to ask is, what's your path going to look like?